Today I got an email from an ex-client who has achieved a lot. So the email spoke about business is awesome. I'm now able to consistently get 5-figure month. Fantastic result. And relationship is going so good at home. Things are just really all round great. So the question that was left was, but I still don't feel like life has meaning. In that, is it a sense of, hey, I'm just ungrateful? Should I just not be more appreciative? Am I just not an appreciative person? You see, for most of our life, we chase things that we think will make us happy. And a really great book that talks about this, In Search of Meaning, is, of course, Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning. If you put yourself in that situation, it is about somebody in a concentration camp, and we are talking about being placed in a very torturous place where just the most inhumane things would be done to a person in ways that you can't even use words to describe, because it is just that disgusting, that horrific, and not something you will wish upon anyone. Now, when somebody's in this situation, why would they not just give up on life? Why would they just not want to die? I mean, there's every reason to do that. Want to do that as soon as possible, because why would you want to be alive just to suffer? And of course, many of these people do die for many reasons. Even food is, hunger, stress, overwhelm, beaten to death, just all sorts of reasons. But what makes someone want to hold on to their life in these situations is there has to be meaning. And this meaning is a very deep thing. And most people don't really get into this, don't really question it until the point when they've made the money. That was me as well. Like, when I was younger, I used to pursue the status and the money. And it's, when you reach a certain point, it's easy to go, well, money doesn't bring happiness. Yes and no. Money gives us option, and it makes things possible. It's a vehicle of making a lot of things possible. So does it bring happiness? Yes, of course, to an extent. But does it bring that deep, true happiness that we are actually seeking within our life? Is a completely different matter. Now, in the book, Viktor actually talks about life is not primarily a quest for pleasure or a quest for power, but a quest for meaning. The great task for any person is to find meaning in his or her life. And this is only possible through 3 sources. One of them is work, by doing something that really matters to you. The second is love, of course. That deep care for somebody. That's somebody that you would be willing to die for. There's somebody that you love so much that you would do whatever for them. And sometimes this can be people's kids, right? Like, they mean so much to you that you will do everything, you would revolve your whole world around them. And this is probably the most natural way one gain the significant and meaning, because it's a very natural progressive step in terms of society's expectations. So a lot of people find meaning in doing that. Now the problem with that is when the kids grow up, then they are left empty. And a lot of the times people don't realize that until, when it comes. Then it hits kind of hard, and life kind of gets rendered a little bit meaningless by then, which is not where you want to be. Now, the love to an actual significant other person, if I think about my life, and I'm sure we can all resonate to this, is that there's always somebody that has crossed our path that you would do anything for. And the tasks you will want to do for them are like the things that you would never even want to do for yourself. So I'll give you an example, would be like, when I used to really love someone, and they arrive at the airport, even before they've arrived, I'm like frantically thinking about, hey, are they going to be hungry? Even though I know their mom would have already well fed them, but I would still go out of my way to like make something, like whether that's some sort of Vietnamese spring rolls or something like that, and I would go make it, put it into a takeaway box, and bring it with me, full knowing the person will probably not be hungry, and so it's a completely waste of time. And yet I find that activity very fulfilling because you were doing this thing from a loving and giving heart. And even in the process of making it, it's kind of really joyful, because you know that it will bring a smile to their face, even if they don't consume. And small things like that you want to do for someone, and could come in many forms, right? Like when you have this really deep love for someone, you notice that you get really creative about things that you will never do. Maybe you start writing poems, maybe you start playing songs, or maybe you want to like organize things for them. You have this deep craving to do activity to organize things for them, because you know that it will bring a smile to their face, and that is very meaningful. So in that pursuit of meaning in life, that's how I see it. Like, love is an incredible form of finding that meaning. So if your significant other is and they're very caring for you, it's about what can you do for them to generate those moments, to make your life very meaningful with the person that you love. And I think that our entire life is to really accumulate as much of these magical, memorable moments, adventures and experiences with people that we love. Because when we string together all of these memories, we would look back and feel that we've lived that incredible life. And even if I was to die right now, then I lived a good life. And I feel a little bit that way now. So, is there anything that I haven't really done? Like if my life was to rendered endless right now, did I say that right? I'm not sure. Like, if I was to cease to exist right now, for whatever reason, am I happy with myself? Well, yeah, because I just don't actually have any regret. Anything in the past, whether it's a forgiveness for myself or for others, I have found that peace. And anything that I've done wrong, I have apologized for those and made amends for them. And any relationships that are very meaningful for me, I have very outwardly told those people and expressed my feelings towards how I feel about them, and the role that I would like them to play in my world. And then, once I've done that, there is definitely a sense of freedom, because it leaves the option open for the other person. And in terms of, what I want to achieve in my life, I am just actively doing that. The kind of impact I would like to have for the world is for us to all live to our authentic self, whatever that may be for us. And I think that each one of us have this essence deep within us, and most of the time we've neglected it. We don't hear it. Like, it's this precious thing deep inside of us, but because we are so caught up in our everyday life and just the distraction and the chaotic things that bombard our life, that we just ignore this deep, incredible essence within us, and we're not living it. So where does the meaning come from? It's about tapping into that core, tapping into what really makes you you. And if you harness that and use that, what you are made to do in this lifetime on earth, then I would think that your life will become a lot more meaningful. Now, the third one here is courage in difficult times. Suffering in and of itself is meaningless. We give our suffering meanings by the way in which we respond to it. At one point, he writes that a person may remain brave, dignified, and unselfish, or in a bit of fight for self-preservation, he may forget his human dignity and become no more than an animal. So I really read that as having the courage to live the life that we want, because each one of us, especially if we are in this first world country, we are very privileged, and we do have the power to design our life. We have access to incredible technology, resources, access to people, because there's no longer this digital divide between us, and all the things we want to do now, it's so easy to do if only we are willing to put ourselves out there, put our voice out there. We often think that we may be just one person, but be the change that you want to be for the world. What is this that you want for the world? Pursue that, do that, and that will be very meaningful. I hope this is helpful.